In this video, we're going to take a look at the homologous series or classes of organic compounds of carboxylic acids, esters, amines, and amides. Let's start off with carboxylic acids. Now, if we're going to take a look at the general formula, generally, let's get a pen going here, we are going to start out with some sort of alkyl group. And then at the end of the chain, we're going to have a C double bonded with an O and then bonded with an OH. So we have this carboxyl functional group present. So a carboxyl is the C double bonded O to another oxygen as well. Now remember, this R group can be any chain of carbons, so could be 1 carbon, 2 carbons, 3 carbons, 4 carbons, so on and so forth. An example of this might be ethanoic acid. So that is a 2-carbon carboxylic acid here, and it would look like so. So this would be ethanoic acid. Now, sometimes you'll see it all written in one line, and if you do see that, you'll see it written as a COOH. So that is our first homologous series. The next one is esters, and esters look like carboxylic acids. So they have an R group. They have the C double bond O bonded to another oxygen, but then instead of this hydrogen, we have another alkyl group. The two R groups can be different numbers of carbons. They do not need to be identical. The functional group name is called an ester, and an example might be methyl ethanoate. And so this one I'm actually drawing backwards here because the first part of the name comes from the oxygen side and the second part of the name comes from the other side. And we'll get into naming in another video, so don't worry about it right now. So this would be methyl ethanoate. Now, if we were to write this all in one line, you might see it a couple ways, actually. You might see it like this with just the COO and then the CH3. You might see the CO in brackets as well. It kind of depends on the convention that the particular publisher or whoever is writing it in the single line is going to use. So that is our esters. Moving on to amines. Amines typically have an alkyl group attached to a nitrogen that's attached to, now this could be 2 other hydrogens, it could be other alkyl groups too, so it can get pretty complicated in terms of an amine. You could have NH2, you could also have RNH with another R group here, or you could replace this H with another R group here, and they can all be different carbon length chains. The functional group itself is called an amino, and an example of this, a really simple example, is ethanamine. So that is going to be a 2-carbon chain and joined to an NH2 group here. So this is ethanamine. And then finally, an amide. So the D in the name actually gives it a different functional group. We have an R group attached to a carbonyl group, which is then attached to a nitrogen, and then attached to, similar to amines, could be 2 other hydrogens here, could be 2 other R groups here. So depending on the formula, you could see something rather complex here. An example of this would be ethanamide, and so that's going to be a 2-carbon group. We count the carbon of the carbonyl, and we just have an NH2 attached to this. This is a very, very simple ethanamide, or a very simple amide functional group, or an amide molecule. So those are carboxylic acids, esters, amines, and amides. That's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.